What is it? What makes you procrastinate? Because I sometimes feel like I'm the world's worst procrastinator. I'm thinking that's going to work. Should be able to get a nice square picture from this sort of angle. And then I'll do close-ups on each of the figures, a close-up of the bag of accessories. And that should do the job. Off you go then. Well, hello and welcome. Welcome back to my shed. You find me in a state of chaos, really, although it's productive chaos. I think I said in a video recently I was going to go through here, pull out a load of stuff and deal with it. I should have filmed that bit really, because that was quite fun. But here we are, here much later. We have an array of stuff that I have been going through and dealing with it. And why is it? Why am I still like 20 odd years into doing this job? Terrible at dealing with things that need some effort putting in. These figures, for example, we'll talk about these in a minute. These Shadowrun figures. There's going to be some decent money in them. There really is. But they needed some effort. They needed some time and some research and some sorting out. I'll talk about those in a minute. And the same goes for most of the stuff on here. The reason it was languishing over there is because I couldn't be bothered to put the effort in. I would rather deal with stuff like the media, plush toys, I don't know, books, stuff that I can list in my sleep almost, right? And it sells quick, and that's what I focus on. Anyway, so we're going to talk about some of this stuff in a minute. I'll show you what I found out and what the plan is with a lot of this on here. But hello to Richard. I mentioned this big bundle of these really nice reusable nappies that I picked up. Couldn't list them on eBay because it's against policy. So they were going to go on a Facebook group. I didn't get round to it again, procrastination. And Richard got in touch and we have now agreed a price on those. I've just got to box those up and get a weight over to Richard, and hopefully that will be those dealt with. Happy days. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll flip the view and I'll go through what we have on here and let you know the decisions that have been made. And some of the reasons why perhaps I just couldn't bring myself to list some of this stuff, some of the mental blocks I have about dealing with certain types of stock. So if we start with these figures, these Shadowrun figures, these came from the big pickup where I had a big box full of various figures which we sold on Whatnot. There was a load of comics, a few of the comics I've got left under here I think. Most have now sold, and these were part of the same pickup. I think I spent about £50 total, maybe 55, can't remember. And I needed to do the work with these. These figures come with a base. Here we are, we have a spare base here. And this opens up, and inside you have all of the dice. Quite often there'll be accessories for the figures. Most of these also have like a tape measure. Something to do with the mechanics of how the game plays. Anyway, I needed to spend the time going through and researching which of these figures, because they all come off the bases. So I just had a stack of these and a stack of figures. This one, as you can see, is duplicated here. That's actually going to be sold separately, the one in the packet. I had a stack of figures, most of which, apart from this one because his name is there, weren't matched up with their base. So it did require a certain amount of effort to go through and find which figure goes with which base and what all of their names were, right? I also have a bag full of accessories, weapons, more dice, etc. Spare hands. I drew the line at working out exactly what goes with every figure. I mean, this guy, I did figure out that was his weapon, for example. This guy is Draven von Dreckel. But anyway, I have now put the effort in, and the plan is this is going on as a bundle of all of these figures, all with their correct bases. One extra spare base, which is the same as this one. I think I've decided 70. I can't remember. I was drafting earlier, and I think that's going on at 70. This one, which is the duplicate of this guy, still in its box. The packaging is annoyingly split down here, look. But he's still strapped in, and all of these have never been out, all these accessories. So that's going to go on separately for about 12, I think, $12.99. But here's the thing, when it came to it, it was actually quite enjoyable, and it wasn't difficult. A few Google searches, a few image searches, I'd figured them all out, matched them all up with their bases, and I now have a really saleable, fairly valuable listing. Once the pictures are done, there's a listing. I thought I'd add a clip in whilst I'm trying to get the pictures done for these. I thought I'd use natural light, so I'm actually sat in our yard here. There's the wood store. Yeah, and I've just laid them out like that. I'm thinking that's going to work. Should be able to get a nice square picture from this sort of angle, and then I'll do close-ups on each of the figures, a close-up of the bag of accessories, and that should do the job. But yeah, you can't really beat natural light, and it's so dark and dingy in the shed compared to out here, so it seemed like the best idea. I'll pop a couple of the pictures in here and you can let me know what you think. I think they came out okay. And hopefully I will get the 70 or whatever it is out of them. I think I'll put offers on and take anything 50 or beyond. I am the £50 pickup. I am way into profit. I sold a bundle of the Buffy comics for 60. I sold a whole load of other comics, so probably about pushing £100 back on just the comics. We sold all of the other loose figures on Whatnot and made about £100. I've sold some other bits and bobs. Oh, and this that I thought was one of these Shadowrun figures is actually the Electrocutioner. Yeah, a DC figure, and he's about a tenner, so I've drafted him to go on separately. But yeah, the point is I procrastinate because I know there's work involved, but when you actually just bite the bullet and deal with it, it's never as much work as you imagine. And I actually quite enjoyed it when I got into it. So some more things I pulled off the shelf to deal with. This is a really nice antique Butlers Tray. I think it was Stephen, Still 69, gave us some advice on this ages ago, or was it? Somebody did anyway. I think I showed it in a video and suggested that I thought maybe it was 20 or 30 quid. And somebody was saying, I'm pretty sure it was Stephen. Oh no, that's a really nice antique Butlers Tray, go much higher. So I then procrastinated, right? Because I wasn't sure on what to do. So I have sat down and done my research. This is a really nice, probably sort of Edwardian age Butlers Tray. It's solid oak, really nicely. It's got dovetailed joints, you can see. Just such a well-made, solid piece of antique wood. I've failed to find any words then. Anyway, it's really hard to judge on value still. Somebody has one very, very similar listed for 100. I feel like that's pushing it. Somebody else has one almost identical on at 50, I think it was, or maybe more. I've now drafted this and I've gone 75 with offers. It's progress. I haven't done the pictures yet, but that's what's going to happen with that. It's going to go on 75 with offers. See what happens. A couple of other bits that have just sat around. A horse brass. It's nothing special. I'm going to shoot for a tenner. This that came from a filler bag jumble sale. It's just a Victorian style, what do they call these? Casement stay. It's worth sort of 7 or 8 quid. hardly worth messing around with. Hence, I hadn't bothered. But now that's drafted, just need a picture. Now, over here, going back to the filler bag jumble, I picked up this. The actual tray is quite nice as well. It has a little bit of age. Little cutlery tray filled with vintage cutlery. Now, vintage cutlery is a little niche that's quite an interesting one. Andrea has just listed this. This is a set of, I think it's Viners, vintage Viners cutlery. And that's gone on at 60 or 70. I can't remember the exact amount she plumped for. Really nice. They came from a charity shop for £3.50. So I haven't actually done my research. This was what I was going to start on next. But this sort of stuff, this is very 80s, 90s. Hi, Jeff. Should we go and see him? What are you barking at? Huh? Have you heard a dog? Have you? Come say hello then. Hello, Jeff. How are you? How are you? Are you all grumpy? It's a bit hot. Huh? Off you go then. It's so hot at the moment, bless him. But he likes to lay on the stone floors in the house and cool down. But it is Scorchio right now. Anyway, back to this. So yes, there will be some good value here. This sort of stuff, very 80s, 90s plastic handled stuff. There is a market. These wooden handled ones, they seem to go quite well. I don't know if these are branded or not. We did look at a set very similar in a charity shop recently, but we didn't buy them in the end. Anyway, so that is going to be dealt with. Also here I have a Laura Ashley tapestry cushion kit. I haven't had that very long. I haven't been procrastinating on that, and I've bought a load more tapestries since, so I think I'm going to have a session sorting those out. Now, the motorbike jacket that was picked up a few weeks ago, paid 10. I just don't like dealing with clothing. I don't enjoy it. I find it mentally draining. But I have now done the pictures for this. Actually, this has gone on. This is listed, I think. Did I submit the draft? I think I did. So that, it looks almost brand new. There's so little wear to it. Yeah, and there's some considerable value. It's an RST Pro Series, and it's got all of the body armour. There's a back plate, shoulder plates, elbow plates. Really nice thing. It's gone on at £100. But it sat around in here for at least a month, if not more. But when I came to it, it was super easy. I just did a search, found the identical jacket, clicked sell similar, changed whatever details, tweaked the title, tweak. Friends of mine have been getting irritated with me for saying tweak too much in the videos. So it's my new favourite word now. I tweaked the details and listed it. It was, honestly, it was a 5-minute listing. Why do I procrastinate on this stuff? Oh, and I pulled this off the shelf. This was picked up at a jumble sale, I think it was. So it owes us pennies. There are 2 how to play the 5-string banjo books in there, which have some value. They are going on for, I think, 20. I've drafted those. And also in here are a load of banjo strings. 5 strings per little envelope, although one has one missing, so there's 4 in it. But yeah, there's a market for these. Should get a tenner for those. Vintage, new old stock banjo strings. I reckon that owes us probably 10p from the jumble sale, and hopefully we'll get 20 on the books and 10 for the banjo strings. But it just sat on here being ignored. I also pulled off the shelf all of this Peppa Pig stuff. Now, I picked this up at a yard sale as a job lot. I don't mind dealing with toys. It's kind of my bread and butter. It's what I enjoy. it's what I started with on eBay, really, video games and then toys. I find them easy to deal with. I enjoy messing about with toys because I'm a big child. One of the reasons this sat there for so long was this needs some repair. All of the scenery, all of the backdrops have come away, so they all need sticking back on. So whenever I thought about doing this, I thought, oh, I've got to get that down, I've got to get some glue, I've got to repair it, do all of that. But I pulled it off the shelf. I have now drafted it. The other thing was I needed to make decisions. Sometimes just having to make a decision is enough to paralyze me into inaction, right? Do I do the camper van and a bunch of figures? Do I do... Because there's 40 plus figures here, loads of them. It's a really good bundle of figures. I was looking at it and I decided one big job lot. Keep it simple, do the repairs, stick all of this back together, one big job lot. So now it's drafted, I have some progress. I need to do the repair and that will go on. Likewise, I had a bag of Playmobil spares. It's going to be hard to show you without getting them all out. I'll show you the picture. That would be sensible, Nick. These on screen here. So it's a big lot of kind of construction and roadwork signs and all of that stuff. It just needed dealing with. So now I have the picture. I can make that listing happen finally and get rid of the last. I think that's the last of the Playmobil. No, it's not. There's a pirate ship. Where am I pointing? There, is that it? There's a pirate ship. Need to do that as well. But yeah, there won't be much in this. £10-12 plus shipping, I would think. But there you go. I do feel so productive getting things done. But I thought, while I have you, we will grab a few more bits and I'll do it on camera so I can be held accountable to at least doing the research and finding out what I have. So I've just spotted these. This is a very summary item. I don't know if it has any value. We were at a yard sale and they had these for £1 or £2. It's a very 1970s set of tennis rackets and foam balls. Can you see the balls at the end there? New Tennis Fever. So vintage garden like tennis set. Yeah, I have no idea if there's any value in this or if I'm going to be able to sell it, but we will pull it off the shelf and look into it. Now I just mentioned this is the last of the Playmobil stock and it's sat up there just to keep it out of the way because it's so bulky. It's a huge Playmobil pirate ship. Now these can have some considerable value. If you find one and it's got all the sails and it's got lots of figures and stuff, they can command a really good price. Now I did manage to get hold of some pirates figures. It needs some attention clearly because the mast is, I don't know if that's complete. It needs a good clean. Look how filthy it is. All reasons why I haven't dealt with it. But it's come off the shelf. So you saw it happen here. I'm going to deal with that now. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to make a draft happen. I found recently that drafting an item, even if it's not ready to go, so I now have let's say I drafted this now, found the similar ship, worked out how much I'm going to try and sell it for, did a sell similar, set up a draft. To me, that feels like half the work's done. And then I am motivated to, you know, do whatever needs doing, clean it, set it all up, work out how I'm going to list it and get it done. So that will be the plan. Right, let's pick one more thing. One more thing. Now, who remembers Mousetrap? I've sold this so many times. I remember this from the 80s. I never had this, but we had friends, when we lived in Hertfordshire, we had friends who lived in Hertford. in Bengio to be precise. And we used to go around there and they had Mousetrap and we would play this game a lot. So that just needs checking that it's all in there. I think there's a dead spider. Is that a dead spider? Maybe. It just needs work, right? Same old, same old. It needs setting up, checking everything's there. Quite often these are missing the little ball bearing goes. I might need to put a new elastic band with it. There's a bit that needs an elastic band, isn't there? When I get round to it, it's not really much effort and I enjoy doing it. It is much later on and I have just set up the Mousetrap. I had to go through and check all the bits were there and it doesn't take long to put it together. And then you have a really good picture for your listing. So I have set it up. I'm getting deja vu. I feel like I've done this on a video before. Anyway, I always find this is a wonderful nostalgia trip. If I put this little green mouse in place, it has all the mice, which is handy. It has the ball bearing. It has the big green ball. All the bits that are usually missing. So all good. Right, let's give it a go. Right, this is always as temperamental as I remember it, but we'll give it a go. So turn the crank. That will hopefully send the boot into that. Yes. Oh, the net's gone off. Anyway, up, diver. Yeah, sort of. I've lost my ball now. Hold on. Well, you get the idea. But yeah, the net went before it was supposed to. But I seem to recall that's kind of how it was with this game. You were lucky if you got the Mousetrap to actually work properly. But anyway, it's complete. I'm going to sell it. Yay! So there we go. Anyway, that's me in my shed. Let me know if you have difficulties with certain items sometimes. Do you put off dealing with items because there's work involved or because you find it difficult to make decisions? What is it? What makes you procrastinate? Because I sometimes feel like I'm the world's worst procrastinator. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. If you'd like to carry on watching me messing around in my shed, check this video out up here. I'll see you over there in a minute. Ta-ra!